Okay, welcome everyone. This week we're playing the second of two sessions of Camp Flying Moose for Girls of Volcand by Lisa Furness. It's in the Racial Justice and Equality bundle from this year still, last July, I guess. If you have that, you own this game. My name is Donna. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm the GM or the MC for this game. So why don't we do a quick round of the table in character keeper order with an intro from our players and then an intro of the characters and then maybe a last time on Camp Flying Moose just to highlight some cool thing that happened last week. So I guess we start with Cass.
All right. I'm Cass. I use he, him pronouns. I'm playing Izzy, who uses she and they pronouns. Last time on Camp Flying Moose, Izzy got really jealous about her best friend, Paula, potentially making friends with a werewolf. So there's a little bit of, like, gotta steal this girl back going on via friendship bracelets.
And Emma, I think, on Pete.
Yeah, hi, I'm Emma. My pronouns are she, her. And I'm still playing Paula, whose pronouns are also she, her, and is completely unaware of that going on with Izzy. And last time on the game, Paula got to consult her mysterious book and she found like this ad that took us to a local magical shop. So that was kind of her trick up the sleeve. Let's see what the book can lead us for today.
Okay, great. And Maria.
Yep. Hi, I'm Maria. I use she, her pronouns, and I am playing Petal, who also uses she, her pronouns. Petal, last time, she's sort of our artsy, kind of free-spirited soul. Spends a lot of time convincing people to go on adventures with a dog that is maybe a squirrel, and took a picture that ended up, I think we saw some like creepy eyes in the background, but that creepy eye turned out just to be our long lost friend, Lara, the werewolf.
Yeah, and hi, I'm Jamie. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm playing Jasmine, who uses she, they pronouns. And Jasmine comes from this long line of witches. She learned how to become a white witch from her grandmother. So it makes sense her best friend is a ghost, Scary Susan, who has top bunk. And previously, what we see of Jasmine is them admitting to Petal, like, well, maybe, there could be some improvements with the sandwiches. Embodying how Jasmine struggles to make friends. But yeah, so I think that's it for Jasmine.
Okay, cool. So how much time do we think has passed since solving the magician's meddling in our werewolves' lives? Izzy, how much time do you think has passed since then?
I think it's been maybe, I'm thinking like a week or two. We've got time for people to sort of get used to like, oh yeah, there's a werewolf family, but they're pretty cool.
Okay. And well, I guess the family have kind of gone back home after dropping off Laura at camp, right? So that much is kind of business as usual. Paula, how is Laura settling in? Are you? I guess is Izzy's fear of losing you to an alternate best friend coming true, or are the three of you getting on? What do you think?
I think to a little extent it may be, just because I am really trying to make Lara feel welcome again. So I'm kind of hyper focusing a little bit on making sure she's okay. and that just means that my attention has been to like make her feel included in all the activities we do and hang around with her and that kind of thing. So yeah, that's definitely been my deal for the last 2 weeks.
Okay. For Petal, do you think there's some big event or some activity coming up that you're really excited about?
I think there's a scavenger hunt. Ooh, a friendship bracelet contest. Yes. There maybe
Maybe combines you have to get stuff from the scavenger hunt and then turn it into
Yeah, so I think like it's a scavenger hunt where it's like you test all of the skills that you are learning at camp. So you like start in the camp and you go through like the forest or whatever, and then at the end of it, there's also like you have to show that you can like climb trees, and you have to show that you can set things on fire, and then also you have to show that you are capable of making friendship bracelets because you have to show that you know knots and stuff. So it's just like maybe like a culmination of camp activities, etc.
Cool. Okay. And for Jasmine, yeah, I wonder if you have been seeing a bit more of one of your counselors, maybe Becky or maybe someone else. I think maybe I'll just ask a question. Have you like gotten the inside track on any secret or any cool thing in camp from a closer relationship with one of the counselors?
Yeah, I want to say that there is a counselor who everyone is a little nervous of. I want to say his name is Mr. Toad. I mean, that's what we call him, not to his face. He has a different name that sounds a lot like Toad, I think. So that's why we call him that. And the reason why we call him Mr. Toad is he has just the largest eyes that really like focus on you. And I think he just has I think he's a nice guy. It's just that he's a little socially awkward. And so I can relate to that. I think we get along just great. But he also has a tendency to say awkward things that he thinks are compliments. Like, and I want to stress, like, not a creepy way, right? Like, just, but yeah. And so, like, I have learned with my new friend, and I've been getting along with him better than with Becky, that there is a special thing happening soon. Like I want to say something like similar to like the stars aligning or the planets aligning, and so, and like it only happens once every like how many years, and yeah, he's been planning something special with other counselors, and that's how I found out. Like it was supposed to be a surprise for us, but I found out a little bit.
Okay.
Ooh, a fish migration. That's even better. Yeah, I'm such a city person that didn't even occur to me. I like that better. That's really cool. like me, nature. What? That's why I'm playing this game. Anyway, yeah. I like the idea that this could be this huge like migration of some kind of like fish and animals, and so we're supposed to like celebrate in a way.
I mean, it's called Frog Lake, right? The lake. So maybe it's a great migration of frogs or toads.
Oh, so cute, so cute. Yeah, and it's supposed to culminate with the whole like event. I think that the scavenger hunt and all the other stuff.
Okay, cool. So,
Mr. Toad and the frogs. That makes sense. Anyway, sorry. Yes.
It's a bit too on the nose, maybe. But
I really hope frogs actually migrate, because that would be like the cutest sight, like all of them just hopping together from one place to the other.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we can find a frog who migrates. If not, well, they do in Camp Flying Moose, right? Google says yes. Excellent. Thank you, Google. So yeah, I think maybe let's have a quick scene in the cabin. Maybe the day before the scavenger hunt is about to begin, and let's just get a quick scene with either all of you together or maybe a couple of you with Lara or with Susan. So yeah, I guess who's hanging out with Lara? Is this going to be Paula and Izzy, or are we going to mix it up a little bit?
So I think that Izzy's definitely in the cabin and is like thinking really hard about what out of all the scavenger hunt things that she's going to find, what she could actually manage to thread onto a bracelet. And maybe giving Lara some side eye.
Okay, yeah, of course. So, yeah, so I guess Lara and Paula are like sitting on a bunk or at the table or somewhere and chatting. Are you chatting about the scavenger hunt or just nonsense? Not stuff and nonsense is probably the best thing to talk about. But
I think that I am trying to know if we can take any advantage of Lara being a werewolf for the scavenger hunt. So I am doing a bit of interrogation of what if you just sniff out the things that they've buried so we can get through it faster? Do you think we can maybe find a little things that way, or?
I mean, it doesn't seem like cheating to me, right?
No.
I mean, some people are better at climbing and some people are better at making bracelets, and she looks over at Izzy, and some people are werewolves, right?
Yeah, and have amazing skills like you do.
I mean, I can smell, I mean, I do smell. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like cheating to me, but I don't know. If we ask Becky, she'll tell us not to, right?
But if we don't ask her, she won't say no either.
Yeah, so we don't ask her, and that means it's okay, and we think it's okay. That's the way it works, right?
Izzy, you should come along with us and see what we find around.
Yeah, that'd be good. Right, Izzy? You're gonna come with us on our scavenger hunt?
Yeah, of course. I wouldn't miss it for the world.
I mean, I would love to find those flowers, those sparkly
the pixie dust flowers. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
Those. Yeah. Because those are like, who needs sparkles and glitter when you have those, right?
Izzy realizes that maybe Lara's not the worst after all.
Not the worst. That is
not the worst.
I mean, that's a step up, right? From being the worst to not the worst, but a bit to go. Okay. So I mean, I guess she seems happy that maybe Izzy doesn't hate her, and is excited about getting her wolf out tomorrow at the scavenger hunt. So she's happy. What are Jasmine and Petal up to?
I think Petal could be asking Jasmine if her special friend Susan knows anything about the last time the frogs migrated. Because I think that happens Petal's been to camp before, but I don't think that the frogs migrate. She just keeps hearing about the frog migration. But maybe it's a every century thing or something. So no one alive knows about it in detail. And Petal wants to know, so where's the best place for me to be if I want to take a picture of them with my camera? And also, is Dog going to be afraid?
And Jasmine turns towards where Susan is, and this is during the day, right? I think so. Like,
Yeah.
so no one else can see Susan, and so you just hear Jasmine going, like, asking the question, like, no, what? Well, I mean, uh huh. Well, as long as nobody gets hurt. Uh huh.
What's she saying?
Well, if you no, I shouldn't tell Petal that, right? It's better if Petal doesn't know. Like, maybe we
What?
shouldn't talk about the Frog King.
No, you should.
So pictures. Yeah. There's this great old, oh no, I shouldn't tell her about Susan. Fine. So there's a Frog King. So maybe you want to take a picture of him.
Is it Mr. Toad?
What? I'll have you know that Mr. Toad, I mean, Thomas is very nice, and we shouldn't call him Mr. Toad.
Well, if we can have werewolves, we can have were-toads, and maybe Thomas is actually a were-toad. Maybe this great frog migration is like his big reveal to us.
Oh, that would be kind of, what? No. And then I turn towards Susan. I don't think he's going to eat anybody. Okay, you know what? We'll just look for the tree so we can set you up, and you can take the pictures from there. We'll just have to find it. But it might be a little hard to reach. You know how to make a ladder, right?
Yeah. I just need rope or a vine, but rope, maybe friendship bracelets can make a rope.
Oh yeah, that'd be the best kind, right? Friendships help you reach new heights.
Yes. What tree is this? Is this a tree that's been here for a while? Maybe
And
Dog knows the way.
I think we cut to the tree, and it's this old ancient oak tree that's twisted from the ages, and like a part of it was attacked by like a lightning storm, but it survived, But then there's also like blah blah was here, like scratched onto the onto the side. And Jasmine is like, yeah, I can show you where it is. I've seen it while looking for stuff.
Stuff?
Yeah, stuff. Stuff.
Witchy stuff?
Well, I mean, the proper term is like witchy things, but sure.
Did you find your witchy stuff?
And then like underneath the bed, there's like this stuff moving around. Yeah.
Is it a shoebox with like a colorful label on it? Witchy stuff.
Oh yeah, with all the glitters and sparkles. Yeah.
Okay, so are we doing a trip to the tree, or do you want us to do some more stuff today before the scavenger hunt? What do you think, Emma? You want to tease out this scene a little bit more and find out anything else, or are we good to fast forward?
I think I'm fine with fast forwarding to the start of the scavenger hunt. Maybe like we get to see how we are getting organized as a camp first before like jumping straight into the forest.
Yeah, okay. So I think there's teams, right? Because you can't send every single girl in the camp out by themselves. You have to have some way of keeping track of people. So maybe it's not cabins. Maybe it's 3 girls on a team or something like that. So maybe they just split the cabins into 2 groups, right? And so there's like no team names or team colors or anything like that because there's too many groups. But I think Becky has said that you can she has a list, right, of everyone and what teams they're in, and then she gives you the option of giving yourself a team name at the very start, which she will note on her clipboard. And then everyone has a map, and everyone has a series of clues, and there's like I think there's a few ways of getting hints or getting extra clues if you're stuck. But it's you can kind of succeed without getting absolutely everything, and then there's like a time to be back to do the crafty section of the scavenger hunt. So everyone has packed lunches, and I think Becky makes sure that everyone in that someone in every team has a watch, right, so that you can definitely be home at the right time. So Becky is kind of taking this as her personal project to make sure that nothing untoward happens. Maybe like last year, because last year, Paddle, what happened last year during the scavenger hunt? Now that we're thinking of that.
I think last year, I think there was a sinkhole that opened, and for half of the scavenger hunt, instead of being a scavenger hunt, it turned into this big basically how to escape a sinkhole course, and people got very good at making ropes and grappling hooks. I don't really know, but like this is why it's important that they test us on that we know how to make ropes and friendship bracelets now, just in case that happens again.
Rope ladders out of friendship bracelets. That's the way to go. Was there okay, who else was here last year? I just need to be reminded. Oh, Paula was. Was there a girl who got into a lot of trouble last year during the sinkhole escapade, or maybe someone who really helped out, or both?
Would it be someone we already know, or maybe an opportunity to establish some other NPC?
Yeah, I think it could be an opportunity to introduce a new NPC. Yeah.
So, since we're in this camp, I'm assuming that there must be this girl who is like the adventurous type, and she's like very skilled and very good at solving situations, and also very reckless, right? And not really being able to see how dangerous something is until she has already attempted it. And she might have helped the most and also probably be the cause of the sinkhole in the first place. We don't really know. But I think that she would have been the one that helped people get across it and whatever was needed, make the best grappling hook.
Do we have a name for her?
If someone wants to pitch something, I am not necessarily. Camila?
Camilla? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. So, yeah, I think Izzy and Jasmine have probably heard stories about the sinkhole, right? And maybe of Camilla's escapades. The cause of and solution to all of last year's camp problems. So yeah, I think Izzy, what extra things have you heard about Camilla since you arrived at camp?
I've heard that she's such a good climber that she could scale a perfectly flat wall if she had to. Like, she's got wrist muscles for days.
Cool. And Jasmine, like what have you seen of Camilla that kind of goes against like everything else that we know about her now?
I know that she's really afraid of the dark. And so even though she puts up this really, really brave front, I've seen her like jump at her own shadow.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, nice pick. Okay. So, anyone else want to add anything before the scavenger hunt starts? No? Okay, cool. So are we going to keep you all on the same team or split you up? What do you think? I think it might be.
Mhm.
Sorry,
We
go ahead.
could be split up potentially.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like, how many of us are there? There's 6 of us if we include Scary Susan.
Does it
Right?
count though?
Well, there's Louisa, remember the really small girl from last week who had a very quick intro, and then Laura. So there's, I mean, if you include Scary Susan, there's 7 of you in the cabin, right?
So maybe 2 groups of 3. I think one of them there's Susan.
Yeah. So do we want to keep the Paula, Izzy, Lara dynamic going, or do we want to split up that group?
I could go either way. I like the idea of the tension in that group, although I could also see Izzy wanting to like get into a different group so that she can like sneakily start figuring out what she wants to put onto the bracelet. So whichever way works for me.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm also inclined to split in that case.
Okay, cool. So maybe so maybe we have Laura go with Petal and Jasmine, and then Izzy and Paula, or do we want to split up the PC to have a different combination? I think having a different combination is a good idea.
Sure.
Okay, cool. So this feels personally close to picking teams in high school. A horror we hope we never have to revisit, I'm sure. So I'll just decide. So yeah, I think let us see. Let's see Petal and Izzy together, and then Paula and Jasmine. Okay. And I think it might be good then to add Lara to Izzy's group, to give you some time with her without Paula, right? Okay,
Nice.
cool. So, yeah, let's go with the first group, which is Paula and Jasmine and Louisa. So you're, what's first on the scavenger hunt for you, Jasmine?
Ooh. Yeah, scavenger hunt. I think we have to, because we're testing our skills too, right?
Yeah.
We have this really cute little booklet of like different birds that we have to see out in the wild, and they gave us like a little digital Polaroid, like I mean, honestly, they're not great pictures, but we're supposed to take pictures and put them in the little booklet, I think. Does that make sense for
for
scavenger hunt?
That works.
Yeah, I love it. Pokemon's happening forest.
Yeah,
I was honestly thinking Pokemon because I was like, I've never been on a scavenger hunt. So I'm just making this up.
So I think, Becky has made it very clear, both in the briefing and in the booklet, that you are not going to catch the birds. You do not have to catch them all. You just have to photograph them, right? Or maybe get a recording of them, of their song, right? Either one will do as counting as for the scavenger hunt. Okay, cool. So it's a so you have some on the map, I think, and in the guidebook you have some kind of directions, some descriptions of the bird's habitat and so on. So it's a bit of a trek, to find these things. And I think Louisa is kind of tired, right? Because she was really excited about it, but it's a lot of walking and a lot of going up and down levels in the hills. And I think you're gone maybe an hour, and you found one or two of the list of birds when she kind of collapses on a stump and just like catches her breath and starts to drink some water and goes, "Oh, when are we ever going to find these birds? I mean, they're hiding on us, right? It can't be this difficult to find birds."
Well, I look towards, Paula.
And I am like with a fan trying to like give her some air and just saying, well, we've only are left with two of them, so they cannot be too far away. I'm sure that we're actually like a little bit ahead of the rest of the groups, right? And like I might have like a few drops of sweat as I look around and see people like just turning back towards the camp because they've managed to do that task and are moving on to something else. So yeah, I am trying to provide support.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, isn't there something we can do, like to attract them? Maybe we don't move around. Maybe, I don't know, we sing like a bird, or we like put out some bird seed or something to get them here. I mean, there's got to be an easier way.
So, feather costume? Is that where we're going?
Well, now that you mention it, obviously that's where you were going.
And Jasmine already starts collecting these that kind of look like feathers.
I'm looking for my glue that I left in the back. And we can just maybe take like a twig and like sharpen it out so it looks like a beak.
So is this to attract birds, or to falsify some photographs to make it look like you stuck with the wrong bird?
I want to point out I have a 0 in crafting, and Paula has a -1. But I think this is a good idea.
Yeah. It's a bird, indeed. Okay, so yeah, I think you have to create the perfect tool to attract some birds, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess who's gonna do this?
Oh, maybe. I think I don't mind doing it, but I think this would be a great opportunity for the power of friendship from from the other girls. So from Paula, I think.
Right. So the power of friendship moves. We rolled it before or after?
After the results, so you can see if it's necessary for help.
Cool.
Nice,
so maybe
nice.
Jasmine can roll since she has slightly
better.
Yeah, we can game this situation to your stat advantages, right?
We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I think what happens is Jasmine, just to justify the 0. Jasmine is unwittingly like creating a more shamanistic, serious set of outfits, and it looks more like, oh my gosh, what is that movie? Like The Wicker Man, I'm thinking.
Okay,
Like,
well, that is horrific. Yes, but
okay, maybe not so far as that, but like this kind of like creepy people who live by themselves out in the woods and they wear headdresses, like that kind of vibe. So, but she's like, no, I can do this, just more like birds. Okay, like birds want to become friends with us, sure. So oh. I rolled snake eyes.
Okay. No amount of friendship is going to help you with that roll.
But at least I'm trying. My process to this is like, if I just keep putting more glue into it and maybe add some sparkles of glitter, it has to work out. It has to. But yeah, despite all the efforts.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think you're left with this. I mean, it's like artistic, right? But it looks nothing like a bird. And I think there's a lot more glue here than might have been initially intended.
And it looks like there are great big teeth coming out from the.
Yeah, there's the beak looks more like a dinosaur beak than maybe a bird beak, right? It looks pretty
arguably dinosaurs,
Yeah. Well,
birds,
I mean,
but I like
dinosaurs
that idea,
are birds,
though.
right? So,
but yeah, I like that idea.
And I think, I think, you take a lot of time on this, and probably what happens, is that there's a lot of rustling and a lot of smell, and you do attract birds who are just curious about exactly what is going on here. And, I think, I mean, Dog isn't here, but these birds are taking a play out of his book, because they are feasting on your lunch, right? As you take all this time to make this spectacular carnival dinosaur costume. So I think, it is, you kind of come up for air after this giant arts and crafts project, and you see Louisa sitting quietly. I think, she's maybe covered in a little bit of glue and has feathers and bark over her head, but she has your little Polaroid, and she is snapping photos of the birds eating your lunch. So, I mean, mission accomplished, I guess. But you're going to be gluey and smelly and hungry for the rest of the day. Okay, cool. Yeah, so let's go back to Petal and Izzy and Laura. What's the first thing on your scavenger hunt list? Petal, maybe first.
What is the first thing? I if you have an idea, Izzy, I don't know.
I could see something that we need to like adventure or work for, something that maybe like we go off a field a little bit. Let's see.
Ooh, maybe there's like a cave or something that we have to collect like glittery rocks from, or like there's like one part of this forest where you can only find this particular kind of rock, and it's to test our adventuring spelunking skills.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So, and I think Laura's excited by this because, this sounds like an adventure. And yeah, it's so it's, do you think it's like down by the, it's a cave like in the shore of the lake, or is it a cave in the mountain, or what kind of a cave is it going to be?
I like the idea of a mountain cave, like a little bit, further out.
Yeah, cool.
Maybe as we're walking through the forest, it's like, why are the birds like not present?
It's quiet, too quiet.
Yeah, these birds are getting fed, these are quality sandwiches too, right? So so yeah, I think you find your way to this cave, and you have your rope, either homemade rope or kit rope or bracelet rope, um just to maybe tie yourselves together, or make sure no one falls, or if things get a little bit more adventurous than you expect. And I think, yeah, why don't you just Petal, why don't you describe the cave as you find it? Give us a little picture that kind of shows that um, maybe this cave is new on the scavenger hunt. Maybe it hasn't been visited very often in the past, or even today.
I think that maybe it's like kind of hard to see from the outside. Like I think there's like you have to crawl through like almost like a pile of logs and twigs. Like there is a crawling aspect that almost looks like maybe there's a big storm at some point and we just haven't cleared it off yet. Um, and maybe there's like it's weird because you'd imagine it to be dark when you see like this cave hole, but there seems to be like a bit of light coming from the back somehow. Um, and maybe I don't know if that's what we're looking for, like something that glows, or that's not normal, but there it's not completely pitch black as you might expect a cave in the middle of a forest mountain to be.
Yeah, cool. And I think kind of at the entrance, or just inside the entrance, I think you find Camilla sitting, um, maybe eating her lunch, but not, obviously just here and not going any further, right? Um, what is it about her that makes you think that maybe she's um, tried to go in but not been too afraid to go in? Is he?
Ooh, let's see. So I think that she's got a little bit of stuff set up, like maybe maybe she's left something, like her backpack is like down on a ledge, like she got only so far and then scrambled back out.
Okay, yeah. So I think she looks a little bit sheepish when you arrive, um, and yeah, she was in a group with Fiona, I guess who's like a regular at camp. And she says Fiona said she would, come back with my bag when she's finished. And it's like she is annoyed with herself that Fiona could go into the cave, but she couldn't.
So Izzy's gonna just like pat Camilla on the back. We're getting ready to go down there, and we could bring some light if you're, if you do want to go down there and experience the whole thing. I'm sure that we can, make it a comfortable spot for you. You don't have to sit this out. It should be fun for everybody.
Yeah, I'm just gonna listen to music here or something, to. Oh, I can't because it's in my backpack. I'm just gonna sit here and I'll wait for you.
There's more of us. I mean, we've got Izzy and we've got Lara and me and Dog. That's like, if you're scared that there's something in there, we can protect you. Plus, Lara's special, so you don't have anything to be afraid of.
I mean, maybe. I just don't like. It's going to be dark down there, and I don't like it.
Well, I mean, for what it's worth, I hear that you've got wrists of steel, the stronger arm muscles than anybody else at camp. And so if you did want to stay up here, I would feel safer knowing that there was somebody here who could help me back up if I was having trouble. So, you know, you'll be able to help wherever you go, whether that's down in the cave or up here. And given that this is supposed to be fun for everybody, if this is where you're having fun, then it sounds like a good place to be.
Okay, so I think that that cheers her up, right? She's not completely useless. Yeah, she kind of, advances a little bit towards that kind of ledge, and says, "Okay, I'll wait here and help you back up when you come back up, and say hi to Fiona when you see her." I mean, you're all coming back, obviously, so I'll say hi. But okay, I'll stop talking now.
What if we made those like those telephone things like you see in like old TV shows where you have like the cup and then the string and then another cup, and I don't know how they work exactly, but like, would that make you feel better if you could talk to us while you were out here?
I mean, I have no idea how long those things are effective at. I don't think I mean, obviously, depending on what you use as the wire, right? But yeah, sure, it'll definitely work. I mean, you might have to craft something to create the perfect telephone. But that sounds kind of cool,
right? Yeah. What would be around that we could use to do this?
I'm sure you have some rope or some twine, right, in your crafting kit.
Oh yes, definitely.
And maybe some, because
you
have your crafting kit, right?
Yeah.
And maybe some paper cups from a picnic tool or something.
Right, because we were going to have lunch.
It'll be a little bit more difficult to drink out of them after you put a hole at the bottom, but needs must, right?
Yes, I want to try and create something.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
And yeah. So.
All right, and I have an additional +1 when I create the perfect item, I think.
Yeah. So crafting +3 essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which that is 6 + 3 is 9.
Okay. So
you want some friendship to attempt to bump that up further, or are you happy with consequences?
Let's see what the consequences for not working.
Okay, so on a 7 and 9 for creating a perfect tool, you make an item but it doesn't work as intended. The counselor offers you a hard choice or worse outcome. So I think maybe, although the physics will no doubt be completely against this suggestion, I think maybe it only works one way, right? So that that you can hear Camilla, but she can't hear you.
Okay.
How does that sound?
That sounds great.
I mean, it's only you made the unfortunate decision of bringing one-way string only, So
yes,
yeah,
definitely.
Okay, cool. So we're coming up to the hour. So how about we take a break and get back for 5 past? That sounds okay for everyone? Okay, cool.
See you then.
We see you then.
Okay, see you in 5.
Cool. So yeah, let's cut back to our feathered gang. You have completed your bird spotting task. What's next on the agenda? Who picked the bird spotting?
Oh, I did last time.
Okay, so what do you think it is, Paula? The next task.
So the one and last time I joined the scavenger hunt-ish thing was 10 years ago. And what I remember from that time is that there were riddles. Um, there was like some sort of cryptic thing written in a piece of paper, and you had to figure out what it was about, right? So I think that maybe we have some sort of poem or something of the sort, and we have to find the place that it's supposedly talking about, something like that.
Yeah, I like that.
So this sounds like the perfect thing for someone with total recall, who might try to remember a place that matches.
Of course, that's what
Yeah.
I totally picked it on purpose. I'm just that smart.
Of course. So yeah, what is this? What's the gist of this riddle, or what do you think it's pointing at?
I think it's one of those that talks about the other side of something, like dive in or see the reflection or some of that riddle stuff. And yeah, uh, if you take it literally, maybe it's asking you to jump into the lake, but that's probably not the answer. So I think that's where I would be at, maybe trying to discuss it with Jasmine and Lisa naturally. Like, Jasmine, do you have, I mean, we cannot breathe, but maybe we just have to swim a long way down. Do you think that will work out?
Yeah, I'm looking at the riddle and something about reflection, and I was like, well, there is this I think there's this old place that was that they like to call the Moon Grove, and the moon is supposed to reflect perfectly there at certain times. Maybe it's about that place, and it's all a metaphor about this diving stuff into moonlight, but I don't know.
Well, in literature class, they told me that everything was a metaphor. But you might as well be right. Moongrove, you say?
Yeah. So do you want to make a move, that total recall move, to remember
sure.
the details of where this moon grove might be? So that is plus smarts.
Oh, that's like a cool skill that I have, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Okay. So I've got +1 smart. And that's more than a 10.
Okay. Pretty good.
Yeah.
So you have read about this, maybe it's in your little guidebook. And you get to ask 2 questions of me that I must answer honestly. There's 3 questions in the move. What local stories are there about this? Is this lore you find in different cultures? And what is one fact that the story gets wrong?
So I get to ask 2 of those.
Yeah.
Right. What local stories are there about this?
So I think there is there's like a story and maybe even heard it or a version of it at a campfire tale Laura has given in the past. And like this is somewhere that her family have gone for some kind of initiation rite. When the moon is full, the first moon of the spring or something like that, they would have come here in the past. And it looks like a normal, it's very normal, very everyday kind of place normally, but during the night when the moon is full, it's really magical, right? And I think she's never gone there. She hasn't had a chance to be initiated yet, but she's looking forward to it.
And the other one, is this lore that you find in other cultures?
Yeah, I think there's something like this in a lot of places. So it's it's a sacred space for this group of people, and they have these important rituals of change that take place here. So there's kind of a liminal space that it's transformed into this magical place under certain circumstances. And so this is not just, this is not something that's constrained to here or to Laura's family or whatever. You're going to find this kind of place just about anywhere.
Right. So I think what's going to happen here is that when Jasmine brings up the thing about the Moongrove, wait a second, I think that, and I'm going to take out another book that's also big and heavy. And, I remember reading that there were these places, kind of like these gates that people would go through and then come back and be wiser and stronger from them. And it had something to do with the moon. I think Lara even told me about it the other day. So like intense flipping through the book, and I am probably going to find a map of this area and maybe where that specific point might be around here.
Yeah, so I think, it's not on the map, obviously, but I think you remember enough incidental details, right, from the stories that you've both heard to narrow it down.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think after this long trek, Louisa is yet again like, oh my God, this is taking so long. And like my little legs are so tired. But I think she is kind of, maybe she has more stamina than she gives herself credit for, right? Because she's like before where she sat down and she needed to take a break, and now she is like just keeping on going, right? And I think you find this area. So I think it's like a big, like a pool. Sorry, I won't say. It's like a dried gulch that is a pool, that is a wide area. So it's not full of water right now, but maybe with like spring tides or spring rains coming down from the mountain, it will fill up for when it's needed, right? And obviously, given that trees don't usually grow in the kind of pool area itself, you can look up and you see like a great big space in the forest canopy, so that when there is a full moon, it will definitely shine straight into it. And yeah, it seems like really normal and like forgettable right now, but in spring with the full moon, yeah, you can kind of just imagine what it would be like at night.
When they show them in the pictures, they look a lot more majestic than this, okay?
Yeah. So what is it that it's like you kind of notice some signs of activity here, but maybe it's old, maybe it's from last year or whatever. like what do you find here that say makes you remember Laura's family, Jasmine?
Yeah, I think I'm going to say that I noticed, like, because it's been a week since before, there's like, I noticed that Lara wears like an amulet of some kind. And there's like an old coin, I realized the amulet's like an old coin that has a something like a sigil on it, and I see that sigil carved in some places here in this area, so I know it like belongs to their family, and it's been in the family for generations.
Okay, cool. And what is it? I mean, presumably you need like a photograph of yourselves here or something like that to prove that you have solved the riddle, right?
Yeah, so these dino birds.
Yeah. Why don't you Paula, why don't you give me like a pen picture of this selfie pose the three of you make with the dried up pool in the background as proof.
Yeah, so I think that we are trying to find an angle where enough of the pool is seen, but like the problem with right now with like our pose and the sun and everything is that we don't look as embarrassing. So we are trying to find some sort of angle where the lighting just puts us in slightly a better light. And I think we eventually find one where like, uh, the shininess of the glue doesn't show up as much, and it just looks like very kind of sticky, but it's all right.
Okay, cool. Okay. So let's switch back to the cave. Izzy and Petal and Lara, you're crawling through this tunnel. You can see the light shining like you described earlier from the back of the cave. And I think it's kind of even though it's in the middle of the mountain and everything outside has been dry for days, there's still like the drip 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 of water in here, and the kind of the walls of a cave are kind of slick with that wetness. And maybe that's helping with the reflection of that light further in the cave. And I think up ahead you can kind of see like a shadow, or at least the shape of a body, um, obfuscating some of that glow. And you can kind of hear the click 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 of I guess it's Fiona picking up some stones and putting them in a bag. And she seems really focused on that, so you're able to surprise her if you want. Petal, what do you do?
I think I'm actually trying to figure out if Lara has been here before, like as we're crawling through, being like, have you, when you were a wolf, did you come here? Do you know where all the best stones are? Because even if Fiona got there first, maybe we have to find the best stone.
And I think she kind of looks like she does this funny thing with her nose, right? I don't think I've been here. I mean, I've gone past the entrance, but it doesn't seem like my kind of place. It's a bit dank, and I like fresh air and trees and stuff. And this is like, ugh. It's all a bit, ugh. That's my feeling. Yeah.
Mm. Oh, can you smell like good rocks though? Do rocks have a smell?
I guess, yeah, but it's like, sure, but only like when other things have like walked on them. I mean, yeah, it's kind of a strange question. It's a very strange question.
Well, you're a sort of strange person, aren't you?
Oh, I mean, thanks.
Yeah, I mean that in the nicest way.
Sure. I mean, I don't know. I mean, oh look, the sun is back. It's raining and sunny at the same time. Welcome to Ireland. I'm gonna close this curtain. I'll be back in a second.
Yeah, like here we say if it's raining and it's sunny at the same time, the tikbalang are getting married. Like it's a like some folklore. I know Japan has an equivalent where it's a kitsune getting married or something.
So that is our 4 seasons in one day from Ireland, as usual. Okay, sorry, we were yes, the rock smell. Yeah, sure. And I mean, Laura's not insulted at anything by you calling her strange. Strange in a good way. That kind of works. But yeah, she doesn't really know. I mean, I don't think she has smelled one of these special rocks before. So maybe they will. Maybe they won't. Izzy, what are you up to?
So I think mostly I'm trying to keep an ear out in case we have any like communication from Camilla or any worry or anything. Do we know that like we can't actually talk back to her yet, or have we not figured that out?
Yeah, I think you haven't quite figured that out. So
Cool.
she is talking down, and she says, "Are you okay? Is it dark? How dark is it?"
So the whole time. Oh no.
Like you can hear me, right? You can hear me. How dark is it? Afraid? Is there someone there who's overhearing you? That's why you're not talking. Okay, I'll be quiet.
Excellent. Yeah. And Izzy, of course, is very confused and trying to answer. And sort of as soon as Camilla mentions, is somebody there who might overhear you, that's when Izzy realizes that she can hear Fiona up ahead. And I think that's when her imagination starts to go wild. Like, what if it's not Fiona? What if it's giant bugs? And so she just turns to Petal and Lara and goes, "Shh, I think there are giant bugs." Look, if I've learned anything from being at this camp, it's that there are ghosts and werewolves, and we're probably going to get eaten if you two aren't careful.
But we have to go get the stones. Otherwise, we're not doing the scavenger hunt right.
You make a compelling argument.
If it's giant bugs, we can just fight them?
I like your gumption. Plus, if Fiona's down here and there are giant bugs, we probably need to save her. So, okay, all right. Camilla, if you can hear me, we're going to save Fiona from the giant bugs.
Are you okay? I know you're there because the line is still taut, but unless whatever's down there has eaten you and is following the string back to me. Okay, so yes, everything's going perfectly with this makeshift telephone. Okay, so yeah, how close are you creeping to Fiona before you make yourselves known?
So I'm kind of envisioning like creeping up as close as we can, and maybe a dramatic like pop out around the corner with whatever makeshift things we're planning to hit the giant bugs with.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I think you surprise her. I don't think this is, I mean, is this quick as a bunny? I think this might be quick as a bunny. That's a move we haven't seen before. What do you think? Quick as a bunny?
That sounds right, because that's where Jasmine is able to move silently, so it seems like it's appropriate for that.
Yeah, cool. So plus speed.
Okay. Select dice. There we go. Oh, there we go.
So that looks like an 8.
Yeah. And I've got speed 0, so yep, just 8.
So it doesn't go as planned. I give you a worst outcome, a hard choice, or a price to pay.
You want help me to try to see if I can help, like potentially try and like shove you to make you go faster.
So
Well, I think even with the
Oh right, because it's just
friendship, it would
one.
add +1. Yeah.
Yeah, never mind.
Now, if Izzy had been helping Petal, Izzy has the max friendship ability, which allows her to give +2 when helping instead of just +1. So yeah. So, but you do it right. You are sneaking up on her, and she is not aware of you until you jump out to kill those giant bugs, right? And I think she turns around in fear because maybe she thinks you're the giant bugs. And you see her eyes shining kind of yellow in a kind of a way that reminds you of those stones, but is definitely not reflection. And then you see her fangs because she's afraid of you and she is going with a fight or flight reaction. And she doesn't like attack you, but like she grabs you as you jump out, and you can kind of get the sense that she is going to eat you. But then she stops, and I think she like covers up her mouth because she is really I don't know, she's upset that she tried to eat someone, and I think unless you say something to change her mind, she's just going to run away from you.
Oh man, Petal, you got any snappy remarks?
I don't know if I have anything snappy, but Petal's just like, wait, you don't have a rock.
I guess she does have rocks, right? Because she was putting a few nice rocks into
Oh,
her
okay.
bag.
I thought she was putting them back in
Okay,
the,
no,
like...
she was taking them, yeah.
Okay.
He was also doing the scavenging hunt, right?
Yes.
Do you want to change what you said, or is Petal just a little bit confused about what's going on?
Maybe Petal is like, are they in her bag, or like, can I see that she has rocks?
I don't know. I think she might have a tote bag, right, for carrying these things. And maybe she has left her normal rucksack with her lunch and stuff with Camilla. Yeah.
Actually, what if can I try to investigate here and like figure out what sort of creature she is?
Yeah. I mean, you could make friends.
Oh, yes.
Or you could investigate. Either one. I mean, I think make friends is probably better for finding out what the deal is.
Okay.
But investigate also kind of allows you to ask questions about it. So whichever one you think best. I think to make friends, right, you have to say something that helps her to not run away, right?
Maybe I'm just gonna investigate because I'm better at investigating
than
making friends.
That totally works. So yeah, I think you kind of you're I guess the impression I'm getting is that Petal is you're kind of stopping and a little bit shocked and just taking it all in.
Yeah.
Not saying anything. Okay.
Yeah, I think like I think I was imagining like Izzy was I don't know if this was like a wide thing that we're wrong thing, but I was imagining Izzy was in front and then Petal was maybe behind them, and so like has like a little bit of time to be like, what is up with Fiona? And
okay. So before she runs away, Izzy, do you want to come in with something, or are you struck speechless as well?
So the way I'm envisioning the sequence is rah, and then getting grabbed and being like, ah. And then, so, all right, so Petal's just looking. I think that Izzy, heck. So she's thinking about Camilla back at the cave entrance and is maybe stammering like, you're okay. Oh man, Camilla was worried about you and waiting for you to come back with her pack, but I don't know if that'll be like friendly enough for, oh, you know, my words are trailing off as Fiona's running away, or if we're able to.
Yeah, I think, you know, I think that might be enough. Yeah, I think if you mention Camilla waiting out there for her, she is not going to run in quite the same way. So yeah, I think. So Petal, why don't you roll plus smarts to investigate, and then.
Yeah. I rolled 9 plus 1 is 10.
Okay, so you get to ask 2 questions about the mysterious thing.
Okay, let's say, I guess the mysterious thing is Fiona, maybe?
Yeah.
And I think
works.
I want to say, what is this mysterious thing called? But like, Fiona, can that mean like, what is Fiona?
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, so definitely a vampire, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And how can we best protect her?
Okay, so I think like for her, it's you know, you haven't heard any stories about her. I think, you know, you haven't heard any stories about vampires. There's just like usual rumors, and people list them in the top 3 supernatural creatures all the time, but no one in camp has actually got any good stories about vampires. So she is obviously not like killing people or feeding on them, or at least not attacking them to feed on them. So this was like a fight or flight response. She got surprised by someone wielding bug killing sharp sticks at her, and she responded to, you know, with her kind of animal instinct. So you think, you know, if you can like just be friends with her, she's not gonna do anything stupid, right? And obviously, you know, she's out and about, and maybe she's avoiding direct sunlight, but we're, you know, we're avoiding all of that awkward sunlight hysteria right now. So yeah, I think, you know, she doesn't seem like she is dangerous, but maybe she's a bit embarrassed by this whole thing, you know. That sounds like a fair answer. Okay, cool.
Yep.
So yeah, let's I think let's switch back to our other duo. So you've taken your fantastic selfie at the moon pool, and you know, I think it's probably, yeah, I'm sure you've done other things, right, in the day, and maybe it's time to head back. Maybe there's crafting opportunities to have. Paula, how do you think you've done in your, you know, there's a list of maybe 10 scavenger boxes to tick. Are you happy with your progress, or how do you think you've done?
Yeah, so just to be clear first, the idea was to collect stuff from the scavenger hunt and then use those to craft something.
Yeah, I think we left it pretty hazy, right? So maybe it's like a like an art piece with all your photographs, or maybe maybe it's bracelets, or maybe it can be anything, I guess.
Yeah, this sounds very summer camp. Cool. I think I was sufficient today. We probably got the minimum and a little more, and maybe like we picked up a couple of things that weren't necessarily in the boxes, but like we still think that they can be useful. So yeah, it's kind of like that.
Okay. And Jasmine, who first sees you when you return to camp, and like how did they react to your spectacular outfit?
Cool.
Yeah, I'm going to say that because of all the glue, it's muffled our movements and sound. So people at the camp, it was like there was nothing there, and then all of a sudden, these three figures of like dark feathers and glue teeth show up. I'm gonna say I'm looking at do 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 do. Yeah, I think it's the counselors. I think Becky and Thomas uh, come across see us first, but we look like a real fright, like by the edge of the forest. You know.
Cool. So yeah, I think it's like who are these people, and then you get a lot closer before they recognize you, and then there's like it's not like concern, like you're obviously okay, and I think it's probably a bit of a shrug, hey, we see the spectacular things every year, and maybe this might get into our top three for this year. We will certainly talk about it again, but hey, girls get up to all kinds of shenanigans, so you're safe and you're back, and that's probably all they care about. And who I mean, there's other teams who are back, and maybe you grab I think maybe you're by the lake and there's picnic tables for the whole kind of crafting setup, and there's another team besides you. What I guess let's give one of them a name, and then so Paula, what let's name one and give her like a snapshot personality, or what's her deal.
What if it's like low-key rival team? So like we're not actively competing, but like there's some beef of some kind of trying to be better. Like maybe we went onto another excursion and thing, and we were like trying to see who could do it the best, and we still have some of that. And I am a little out of names, but
Amelia?
I like that, yeah.
Okay. And Jasmine, like what surprises you about all of the stuff that they have? Have they got something that you would never have dreamed of, or something that you really think is not too good?
I know that Amelia is secretly a little rich girl, and so she called on her cell phone to have her daddy and mommy send over people to go through and find the stuff for them. But we've never been able to prove it, even though I know that's exactly what they're doing. So they have so much stuff. They have like a mountain, and they have duplicates of the stuff that we were supposed to find. And Amelia is like, I guess this one could be a shinier rock. And like, I just, she really gets me. She really gets to me. And I'm like,
That's a cheater type behavior, right? That is definitely going to get on Becky's radar. I can't see that as being in the spirit of the rules, or even the letter of the rules. And are her teammates kind of the cut from the same cloth, or kind of just being dragged along by her? What's the dynamic in the team?
Ooh, I kind of like the idea that Amelia used to be nicer. And so all her friends have stuck around, but they're all kind of like, they don't exactly like what Amelia's doing either. So I think they all look kind of guilty.
Okay. So, yes, I think she looks over at you as you lay out all of your stuff. And, she obviously turns up her nose at not just, the stuff you have, but like the way you look. The and like she obviously says something about the smell. We can smell glue from over here. Oh my God, what have they done to themselves? And then like one of her friends says, "Oh, I think they look really cool." And like she goes like, "Yeah, for a freak show." And so I think she is definitely controlling the group, right, in terms of what they're allowed to think and what they're allowed to say and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, what do you do with this kind of bad vibes situation, Paula?
I think that I'm like going to cough very loudly, like, and I'm going to try to comb like the little feather I still have glued to my head very proudly. So,
Okay.
Jasmine, should we get to work with this? I'm sure we can make something amazing.
Like flashback to when we tried to make something. But I'll look over at Amelia and I'm like, yeah, I'm sure we can make something amazing. Absolutely. And a swing, like sharp eyes towards Amelia.
And yeah, so what's your idea for what you're putting together with all of your scavenged items?
So we've got the bird photos. We've got the other photo of the thing. We've obviously got the stuff that we've, on top of us. Oh my god! What if we like do some sort of like, how do you call this? Like a fashion show? And we like stick more of the stuff that we've brought from the forest, and we have to, live art in front of you, sort of deal.
Yeah. I like that a lot. That's super cool.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome. Obviously, we have to wait a while to see that because you want a full audience for that. So I guess you're planning out your show, and yeah, I guess I'm wondering. I think maybe Louisa is so excited about this idea, right? Because this is completely unexpected, and maybe it's in her wheelhouse as well. I think she like invests herself completely in doing it, and fixing up everyone's costumes and trying to integrate all of the bits and pieces into it. If only you had some kind of dog squirrel, that would be magnificent. Okay, cool. And I think Emilia's group is doing this really kind of not just like bog standard or very vanilla, but something quite unimaginative. It's just like a big poster with the path they took and all the things that they got, and some notes on it. So it's obviously not going to be quite as showmanship as the fashion parade, right? Okay, cool. Anything else you want to add to that scene?
Yeah, I think I just like the idea that Louisa is actually like an aspiring fashion designer, and we only found out in this moment after.
Yeah. So I think I think that works. She is coming out with all these ideas, and maybe secretly, like that is what she does in her journal when you're not paying attention to her, right? And she's obviously thought about the best thing that would work with Jasmine and the best thing that would work with Paula. Like, and here's some notes I wrote 4 weeks ago about, you know, your complexion and this cloth and all this stuff. You know.
Oh
So-
yeah, and she calls it camp couture, right?
Okay. She has coined the phrase. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Okay, let's go back to our cave with your vampire. What are you doing?
So I think I'm going to take this opportunity to introduce myself, because I don't imagine that we've like run into Fiona in camp, or maybe, you know, we haven't like gotten to know her yet, but just say, hey, I'm Izzy. This is our friend Laura. She also is an interesting sort of person like you. She has fangs sometimes, not all the time, but like maybe that's something you two can bond over.
Yeah, so I think Fiona has, like, you know, covered her mouth because she's totally embarrassed by having tried to, or almost bitten someone, and you know her fangs disappear, and she kind of, I don't know, kicks her feet against the um, the cave floor and says, "Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you were something else."
Whoa, we thought you were something else too. We heard all this clicking and clacking, and you know, we had Camilla on our little makeshift telephone, and my imagination ran wild. I don't know about Petal and Lara, but I thought you were going to be a giant bug. So imagine my surprise when you weren't, and my relief when you didn't try to eat me.
Okay, that's fair. What's Petal doing with all of the information she has figured out?
I think Petal has just like inched closer now and is like, also, we won't tell anyone about you if you don't want us to, because I mean, I always thought vampires were scary, but you seemed more scared of us than we were of you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to do with this sometimes, so I kind of, I mean, Camilla knows, so I guess I kind of hang out with her quite a lot. Um, but yeah, I don't think I want other people to know.
Can you turn into a bat?
No. Is that, I mean, listen, if you believe all the stories, I can also turn into a wolf, and I don't think that's, okay, she kind of looks at Laura, kind of my kind of thing. I can't turn into anything, like no mist, no fog, no bat, no, yeah.
I don't, you need, maybe if we get to be your friends, you can tell us what you can turn into.
Hey, you know, she doesn't have to turn into anything. She's just fine the way she is.
Well, I don't know. I just thought maybe it's so much more interesting when people can turn into things. We're just humans, and that's less exciting.
I mean, no, I mean, being a human is pretty cool, right? I mean,
We don't ever have fangs.
yeah, but like that means you just don't get embarrassed by normal stuff, right?
Oh man, I get embarrassed by everything, let me tell you.
Yeah, I guess, and then sometimes I get hungry, and then it's just like I've got to, you know, hit the bunk and try to stay away from people because I don't want to bite them.
What do you eat?
I mean, and so I think she looks embarrassed again, right? So, I mean, in the darkness of the cave, you can see her glow red with that question, right? Um, stuff. Yeah, normal stuff.
Do
I
you,
mean, yeah.
do you like sandwiches?
I'll sometimes depends what's in them.
Petal is gonna rummage in her bag for like one of her sandwiches that she also packed in addition to the camp provided sandwiches, and kind of just hand it over as like a peace offering.
Okay. So what's in the sandwiches? Is it salami sandwiches from last week, or is it something different?
No, this sandwich is um it is a jelly and banana sandwich with no peanut butter.
Okay.
It's very sweet. It's basically dessert.
Okay. Yeah. So I think like
And some chocolate syrup.
she like smells it, and she kind of takes a bite, and her eyes kind of they're no longer those kind of feral yellow sparkling eyes. They're just normal eyes again, and like they do brighten up when they get that sugar rush. Um, but I think there's a disconcerting image of like a little bit of strawberry jam or red jelly going down the corner of her mouth. But yeah, she likes your sandwiches, right? That cannot be an evil vampire in that case, right?
Yes, she's my best friend now.
Okay.
Friendship ended with dog, best friends with Fiona.
So I think yeah, so I guess maybe unless you want to do anything else, you gather some stones, maybe she shares a couple of no, and then you go out to meet Camilla, and Camilla like gives Fiona a big hug and said, I didn't know what was going on. You had disappeared. I couldn't hear anything you said, Izzy. This phone is not up to scratch. And then you kind of share out all the stones that Fiona picked out, and it's kind of like a pretty fair swap. People pick what they like, and you get a ton of stuff. And then you head back towards camp. I know we've only done like one scavenger hunt, but I presume you pick up a load of stuff on the way back, right? Okay. We are 5 to the hour. We take a break until the hour and then come back. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So yeah, I think we get everyone back to camp. I wonder if Izzy and Petal and Laura and Camilla and Fiona, on the way back, obviously you probably have some scavenge items to pick up to scavenge, and you probably get a chance to chat to everyone. I wonder if there's like anything surprising or kind of reassuring that emerges in your time with Camilla and Fiona. Izzy first.
Let's see. So I think, let's see, reassuring wise. Well, so for one, I think that we see Camilla like really calming down and feeling significantly better. Like we left her in an okay place when we were going down into the cave, but now that she's like back with Fiona and has her anchor, she's like opening up a bit more and talking. And yeah, that's what I got for those two, I think.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I guess she really doesn't like the dark, right? So outside of that kind of scary place for her, she's back to her usual self. How about Petal?
I think as we get closer to the camp, we hear like a rustling and maybe a dog shows up out of nowhere, attracted by my gourmet sandwich that Fiona is eating. And like, I think it calms. I think it's reassuring that dog seems to really like Fiona and like maybe is even running laps like figure eights around Fiona and Camilla. So that's good to know. Dog's not afraid. Therefore, they're cool people.
Yeah, cool. Okay. And when the two groups get back in, I wonder from Paula and then Jasmine, like what do they see? Like I think your table and your burgeoning fashion show is getting a lot of attention, but I wonder what they see exactly that is like, wow.
Yeah, like I think that that what's happening is Louisa is like really going all out in building up the stage, and like the photos are everywhere. They're built into her clothes. Like, how did this happen in just like a few minutes?
I mean, a fashion montage is capable of everything and anything, right?
Yeah, I think that she, like 5 minutes ago, she managed to like put the last things in our outfits, and now she's moved onto the scenery, right? So she's probably setting up the thing, and we're just maybe, at least Paula might be just awkwardly staring there, not sure how to do with so many stares directed her way, and maybe clumsily trying to help Luisa with something just so she doesn't feel as exposed, let's say.
Yeah, and I think maybe Louisa is utilizing your kind of your denim outfit. It has a lot of straps and loads of stuff to hang stuff off, and I think she is using that to its full effect. You're now an art installation, I think, for Louisa's handiwork. Okay. Okay, yeah. So I think it's probably a good chance to meet back up as the two pairs and swap a few stories, and then we can fast forward to the high point of the show. What do you think?
So I think that while we meet back up, Izzy's gonna take Paula aside for just a moment and say, "Hey, I need that friendship bracelet back." And we get like a dramatic pause, and then I'll give it back to you in a minute. I just need to add some things to it.
Oh, okay. Sure. And she will hand it over and be like, "But do bring it back, please."
I think an unethical producer would have cut to commercial after that first sentence from Izzy. Okay, cool.
I think Petal is just gonna like tug on Jasmine's feather sleeve, be like, I have to tell you something real quick.
Yes? Oh, sorry. I've been thinking in bird this whole time. Uh-huh.
You can't tell anyone, but we met someone who's also special in the same way that Laura and Scary Susan are special. And you.
Oh, a wizard?
No, they're a vampire, but they can't turn into a bat. But don't tell anyone, because I told them I wouldn't tell anyone. But you're a friend, so I thought you should know, and also you're magic, so I thought you should know too.
Oh, wow, that's super cool. I've heard of that. Vampires that don't turn into bats. It's pretty interesting.
And they like my sandwiches.
Oh, well. I mean, yeah, that's great. But where are they?
I think Petal looks around, and almost like points at Fiona, but then like remembers in time and is like, that way, vaguely gesturing where it's only Fiona and Camilla, maybe.
Cool. Yeah. And I think I think Jasmine will be like, oh yeah. And they think it's Camilla, right?
So that's why she was so scared last year, of course.
I mean, it must be sad to be a vampire who's scared of the dark, right? I mean,
Kind of. Would make for a great character, though.
Yeah. So yeah, why don't we get a little kind of a design montage for the other display, Petal and Izzy. What are you doing? I mean, obviously, like you have things other than nice shiny rocks, but
Yeah, I think so. So Petal's really into photography, right? Like, what sort of awesome shots did you get for us to bring in that regard?
Yeah, I think Petal shots, like maybe on our way back, we had to like stop every so often, and Petal would take, it's just like group pictures of our group and Fiona and Camilla from like different angles. So like once she climbed a tree and once she was like lying on the ground. It's just like band photos of everyone. Maybe like with holding different things that we needed to find for the scavenger hunt.
And I think that I managed to, let's see, maybe like break a really interesting, like old, there we go. So we found like this huge table mushroom that was part of like an old gnarly tree. And I managed to take that, and it's got like bands of different colors and stuff. And it's just like real funky looking.
cool. Yeah, and I think everyone is around, and people are looking at each other's projects, and loads of people are being suitably impressed with everyone's efforts. I think obviously not Amelia. She is going, it's okay, I guess. And obviously, I think Becky is going around and making sure that everyone is happy with their thing, and like she stops at Izzy's and Petal's setup and goes like, "Wow, like how did you bring back this mushroom intact? It's amazing!" Like,
Well,
it's
I
so
tell
big.
you, it's so big there wasn't mushroom left in my pack.
Boom, boom. Yeah, I think that gets a chuckle out of Becky, because the old ones are the best ones, you lost one humor point, yeah. And then I think she takes a look at the photography and like the layout and design of all that and the great shots you took, Petal, and gives you a big thumbs up. And kind of wonders like how you get. I think maybe did Petal use the assigned cameras, or did she use her own?
I think she had to use the assigned one because maybe the assigned one is like a Polaroid or whatever, so you can actually get the picture.
So I think you have found the factory settings that no one else has. You played with the settings to get some real quality.
Can we see Fiona in these pictures, or is it that like vampire thing where you can't see?
Photographical. Maybe that is a thing about vampires. Cannot turn into a bat, but does not show up on recording or
this is just like
photography.
A weird shimmer where Fiona usually is.
Yeah. There's like a smudge on the lens or something like that wherever she appears. And sometimes it's you wouldn't know, but sometimes like there's a gap in the group of you standing, and there's arms going over this space, and it looks really awkward. Maybe you got to Photoshop something in there later. That's it looks like something very strange is going on. Yeah, cool. And then I think she goes over to Jasmine and Paula's table, and it's like, I think she is. You can't help but like have noticed this before, and I think she just says that she is like really impressed with this work, and well done, Louisa. I've seen you hard at work, and I think you've managed to bring Paula out of her shell. I can't have imagined, when camp started, that she would be involved in this kind of project. But well done, everyone. Yeah, and I think what else? Yeah, I think it's like she mentioned something about the smell, but she's glad that she gave everyone non-toxic glue at the start of this whole day, because that might have been dangerous, with the amount of glue that you put on yourselves earlier.
Teacher, it is.
Oh, you're muted.
Oh. Yeah. So I was saying that, teacher, it is part of the experience. Okay.
Well, you're here to push yourself, to have a little bit of adventure that you won't do the rest of the year. So I think you have to just learn something new about yourself every year when you come here. And maybe it's not for you, but maybe it is.
And I just look nervously at Louisa. Just before show panic, is this a good idea?
So I think Louisa has to, get on. I think tippy toes are not enough for her to to look at Paula properly. So I think she like stands up on the bench of your picnic table to look in your eyes and says, Paula, you got this. Nobody knows you're this nervous, only you. So you're gonna crush it. Everyone's gonna be totally jealous.
uh, uh, yeah. And she just runs off.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think when Jasmine sees that, they're gonna be like, "Oh no, I'm going to have to do something," like to try uh, to give uh, like Paula confidence or to feel better about what's going on. I think they'll like go after it and say, Paula, you totally got this. Like, it's what helps me. Like people talk about imagining an audience in their underwear, but I imagine what would happen if they're all dead. Like ghosts.
Right. So instead of being in a show with like all cheerful people, it's like a graveyard. Uh,
Yeah, and then
yeah,
so
that's
it feels a lot better, right?
yeah. And I think that she will be trembling a little bit. It's not like the best um, sight that Jasmine paints there, but she is going to try.
so I think Izzy has finished like updating the friendship bracelets and is looking for Paula right now, and maybe like missed her running off.
Yeah, I think. Do we want to see Izzy help Paula back onto the stage in time for the show?
Yeah, I think that will be perfect. Like maybe we're walking back and you catch us there.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. So like looking around, wondering where my friend is. I know that she's about to be putting on a show, and then the two of you come back. Great. So I rush up, and I've got 7 friendship bracelets on me. Um, and the first one that I'm giving out is to Paula. Um, and I say, "This is the last part of your ensemble. If you feel okay with it, I would love for you to demonstrate this one in your fashion show before I give them to the rest of the girls in our cabin."
Well,
Okay.
if you put it like that, it has to. Yeah, that sounds great, actually.
Okay. So there's the denim bracelet part still for overalls gang. There's a lapis lazuli for friendship. Uh, for petal, there's a little sandwich that I got at the magic shop. It's a little resin sandwich. They do beads in general there too, because she makes things that are greater than the sum of their parts. For Lara, there's an alexandrite stone because she changes under the moonlight just like an alexandrite does, but also because I just needed to look at her in a different light. For Louisa, there's a speckled seed because she's tiny and contains multitudes. For Scary Susan, there's a moonstone to remind us that even though we can't always see her, we know she's there with us. Uh, for Jasmine, there's a tiny vial that's corked with wax, and it has a little rolled up piece of paper in it. And it's a mystery. And if you ever open it, I'll tell you what's in it. But until then, it's up to you to either decide whether to keep the mystery or to open it. And then for Paula, there's a little fabric forget-me-not flower because she remembers everything that you tell her. And please don't forget me before we're back in camp together again.
Oh, that's so cute. Do you say that out loud, right? Or
I think that, yeah. Oh, ooh. Yeah, you know what? So I think that Izzy will like go through all of them just to say like
mm-hmm.
who they're for, and she'll lead with like I appreciate that you forget everything that I tell you and that you're so thoughtful and kind, and then she kind of like bites it back for a second before saying, "Please don't forget about me until next year."
that is adorable. Yeah, so she will put in the bracelet very proudly, and I'm going to make sure that everyone notices. And you should also be noticed. You should also be noted in the notes. I'll say to Luisa to include you as part of the decoration team and the design team. And she's just going to hug you. Like she's going to like run for a second and do one of those quick hugs, and then like run the opposite direction.
Perfect. Yeah. Let's so before the main show, maybe Petal, you can describe how your little display is taken first. You have everything that we've previously described, and I think a lot of people are interested and they want to learn how you do this with the camera, and a load of people showering praise on you for your work.
Yeah, I think I'm imagining it's like one of those like science fair trifold poster boards, and I think Petal has set up a demonstration, and it's like, okay, so everyone just take out your cameras, because we all have like the same camera, and it's basically just like, so if you just fiddle with this knob here, and also if you whack it a little bit just to like make it a little bit more creative, artistic, like the imperfections of the camera will lead to perfection in the art. So she's just like hitting the camera. Like I think maybe what happened was like she dropped it in the cave or something, and like it just like knocked something off. She's like, if you just drop it slightly, you'll get just like that little shimmer of light in your picture. But really, it's all about just being free with what you like. Don't care too much when you take this picture. Just let the moment guide you. And I think she's like, and this is how we got that picture of Izzy and Fiona. I mean, Izzy and Camilla and Laura, and Fiona was somewhere else at the time, but that's how we got these pictures.
Cool. And I think Jasmine, why don't you describe Emilia's display and how no one is quite convinced by any of it, and maybe we kind of see a little bit of the shine come off of her image in camp.
Ooh, I think it's I think when she's in the middle of presenting it, a walkie-talkie goes off and everyone can hear it. Like, Lady Amelia, have you received uh, all the items? We're just checking in to make sure. And then she freaks out, tries to turn off the walkie-talkie, but everyone is like, oh.
Yeah, turning it off in a panic is worse than just everyone hearing it and ignoring it, right? Cool. Okay. Yeah, so I think maybe Paula, let's get a quick a quick montage of the fashion show from your point of view.
Right. So I guess that maybe Luisa is going to, if they let her, she's like maybe going to do a little bit of a presentation before we begin the show, and it's going to explain that it's an experimental thing and that our project is also art and it's fashion, and she's going to like do the fashion ethos sort of presentation. And yeah, Paula is just she has to be the first, right? It has to be the worst uh, um, situation. So she's going to start first walking very nervously, but then as she probably looks over at Izzy and maybe Petal is also going to be next to her and Lara, and she's just going to start to own it as she keeps walking the I don't know how you call that in English, like the big thing where like people walk in a fashion show.
Catwalk.
How?
Catwalk.
Catwalk,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, so I think that her costume is kind of like, it still has the bird theme, right? So like there's some feathers around, and maybe what she's added is like more um natural elements from the forest. So there are some wood twigs and leaves, and it's like a eco fashion sort of deal. So yeah, she's just walking around with her leaf skirt, does the turn, and when no one's looking, you can very clearly see her freaking out, but she keeps it up until she disappears.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Anything you want to add to that, Jasmine?
Ooh, yeah. I think as we go through the fashion show, I can't help but see like every like a stop and pose kind of situation going on. Uh, I think that uh, I think Louisa is supposed to be up there with us, but she's taking pictures instead.
She's going to capture this moment for posterity.
Do you think your costume looks similar to mine, or is yours like a different theme sort of deal?
Ooh, yeah. I think my costume is trying to. Oh, I think all the different poses are because I'm trying to pose all the different birds we found. Right.
Oh,
So,
that's so cool.
so, so there's like a huge plumage. I think. I think the outfit like subtly transforms from like one bird to another. I think that's what happens every time I stop and pose.
Cool. And is there anything? So Camilla and Fiona have their display also. What's that one? What's that one like?
Let's see. So I think that they have the most varied and interesting like little odds and ends, between Fiona being like the more comfortable going down into the cave and having spent time there. She's got like just a really beautiful rainbow array of little gemstones and stuff. And Camilla, let's see. I think that with her climbing abilities, she's found all sorts of like nuts and seeds and things, as well as just a huge variety of things from the fairy forest. Um, so they've just got this like full spectrum of the beautiful, colorful things from around the camp. Um, yeah.
Cool. And yeah, I think like after the show, I think obviously Paula and Jasmine's and Louisa's show is like voted most spectacular and legendary and awesome, right? And everyone else, gets. I think apart from Emilia, everyone else gets some kind of mention from Becky and the rest of the counselors. Um, and I think we probably see Amelia fuming and blaming her teammates who, I don't know, maybe have had enough, of her nonsense. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's it's kind of a party atmosphere, right? Everyone is really happy with themselves, apart from aforementioned Amelia. And yeah, it's quite the night, and I think the usual kind of camp rules about staying up late or being out and all that kind of stuff are relaxed for the night. And that is probably the final checkbox on Becky's clipboard. No rules tonight. Check. Okay. I think it might be a good place to have kind of a quick scene with everyone, maybe the next day or whatever, and then we can do like a closing scene for everyone. Yeah, so the next morning, or it's a late getting, I think maybe it should be late getting up, but I think Becky still has to do early morning exercise for the whole camp, right? So no matter how little sleep you got, or no matter how much of a sugar crash you're on, she's not, the no rules was for last night. This morning, there's still rules. So how is everyone doing the next morning? And then I guess you probably have some breakfast or whatever. So if you want to do like a less intense scene in terms of having to exercise or whatever, that's fine with me. What about Izzy? What's she up to?
So Izzy has once again pre-ground and measured the coffee for everybody because she knows that it's going to be a morning. And I think probably with all the hubbub of last night, she didn't get to catch up with everybody and give out the rest of the bracelets. So this morning, as everybody wakes up, they find a little bracelet next to them on their bed. There's one up on Scary Susan's bed as well. And I think just a little note with a rundown of what she told Paula about the bracelet, just like, this is you, this is what it means to me and for us as friends, etc. But conspicuously leaves out the like, Paula, don't forget about me next time. Yeah, so just like making sure that everything will be perfect for everybody, and then she goes off to do the calisthenics.
Yeah, so I think Laura especially appreciates the coffee because she needed that. It's a long time between the last full moon and the next one, so coffee helps. Cool. Paula, how about you?
Yeah, so are we doing the exercise or are we before?
You can do whatever you want, really. Like I guess like we saw for Izzy, it's like a scene before breakfast or whatever. But you can drag someone else into a short scene if you want.
Right.
Whatever you prefer.
Yeah. I don't know if I have anything in particular. I think that I might be catching up with Lara maybe, and kind of interchanging some stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard something about a vampire. I want to know more. That sort of deal.
Yeah. So like, I think she's pretty kind of open about the day, and she like is kind of singing Izzy's praises quite a lot, and like she was so brave taking on these strange bugs that she thought were down in the. It was kind of funny, but also kind of cool. And then like talking about Petal taking photographs, and it was so cool, and like it was awesome. And then she's not quite sure what to say about the vampire because she doesn't really want to say who it is. So, and she says that to you. I'm not gonna say anything about the vampire because not my secret. Yeah, I mean, I guess you kind of knew I was a werewolf. So yeah, but not my secret. So I'm not gonna say anything. about
That's
whoever it
fair.
is.
That's fair. I am sure we will find out anyway at this pace. But I'll also not ask about it then.
Yeah, but yeah, she pretty cool. You know, yeah. I mean, like I don't want to break up your friendship with Izzy, but I don't think I am, right? Like I know you're a bit, I don't know, territorial. I got territoriality, yeah. I don't know. We can all be besties, right?
Well, of course. Was that even a problem in the first place?
Oh,
Oh no,
like you should have seen the way Izzy was
no!
looking at me, looking at you.
Izzy hates me.
No, she doesn't. But like jealous. I mean, yeah, sure. I understand. You're awesome. Like, oh,
It's because when you got back to the camp, yeah, I didn't. Oh, I haven't a good hair as much.
and you were just worried about me, and I'd been away for a long time, and that's super sweet. But you know, you like, I don't know. You could try talking to Izzy about it. I know that's like a strange concept, but
Well, but it's like I care about you, and I was pretty worried, but I also care about her. Yeah, we should definitely talk to her. And just like hang out together more often. I think it doesn't have to be, little groups. I think we can just be
yeah,
around each other.
yeah, sure. Um, yeah. How about pedal? What what's this morning like for you?
I think she rolls out of her, I can't remember if I'm on top bunk. Yeah, she rolls out of the top bunk. And once she gets her coffee, it's gonna be like, I think she's gonna try and drag everyone to look for signs the Great Frog Migration already happened, or like if we missed it. Like she's gonna be like, I don't know. I thought I maybe heard some croaking last night, but in case we didn't miss it, we have to see if there are frog prints all around the cabin. Who wants to check? I'm sure we can get back in before calisthenics. And if we didn't, it's an exercise anyway to go around the cabin looking for frogs. Jasmine? Izzy? Paula? Laura? Who wants to find frogs with me?
Let's do it.
Never been so excited about anything in my life.
I think
this sounds like cutting class essentially, but that's fine.
Petal is going to write a note that says, "Dear Becky, we decided our morning exercise would be frog chasing. Sincerely, Petal."
Okay, sign the confession note.
Taking responsibility.
Yeah, well, cool. So yeah, I think you you see some signs, some little footprints in the mud that's maybe just outside of the cabin area. And then I think you find maybe it's running along that gulch that we described as going into the moon pool earlier, right? And I think you find Thomas, Mr. Toad, there with like a big tripod and a big video camera, and you can kind of see the frogs coming in from a different area and then like filling up the gulch and just like hopping along towards the lake. And he looks like he's been up here for quite a few hours. Um, and he kind of waves you over when you arrive. And I think he makes some comment like he knows that you're skipping Becky's calisthenics, right? Because who needs exercise when you can see the magic of nature, you know?
Yeah, exactly. The magic of nature, the magic of frogs, Mr. Thomas. Are you counting them? What are you doing with this
Well, so
recording thing?
when there's like hundreds of thousands of things, it's difficult to count them, but you use a technique, right? So you like in your head, you make a small square and you count the frogs, the objects in the square, and then you multiply it out into a grid. And then I look at the rate in which they move through my space, and then I count the number of times that happens. So yeah, I mean, it's I don't count every single one, but yeah, there's a lot.
Are you conducting a frog census because it's your kingdom? Jasmine said there was a frog king, and since you're here and you're the only grown-up here, is that you?
Well, I mean, you're aware that frogs and toads are different. And I think he gives you all a wink, like this is part of the joke, right?
But that's just what you say. Maybe you're actually a frog.
Maybe I am actually a frog. Yeah, it sometimes feels that way.
A
I look at
weird
my
frog.
hands sometimes after I've been looking at frogs for a while, and I say, these are less than ideal.
Did you cause them to do this migration?
Well, that would mean like the migration is every 67 years, give or take. So, I mean, I'm not that old, right? I mean, I probably look positively ancient to you. I must be at least 51 in normal Earth years. But that is, not actually spectacularly old.
I don't know. It seems fairly ancient.
Yep. It feels that way sometimes, especially when I have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning without coffee. But
you should come join us for morning calisthenics with Becky.
Yes, but I don't hate myself enough to do that. So if you manage to convince me to do morning calisthenics with Becky, she will explode with joy, and I will die shortly thereafter from exhaustion. So, I mean, neither of those things are things we should encourage.
Well, okay. I guess we're just happy to have seen the frogs. But
Well,
Becky always says that morning calisthenics are a good way to refresh your energy and find vibrancy in your soul. So you're always welcome to join us.
Well, you should pay attention to Becky.
But we're young.
She is
we
a very
don't need
wise and good counselor. But I will keep my own counsel with regards to early morning exercise.
Okay, Mr. Thomas. I guess we'll leave you alone with your kingdom of frogs then.
I guess. How about Jasmine? What anything else you get up to this morning?
I think Jasmine came along what Petal was supposed to, but got completely distracted. We see Jasmine is wearing a special witch hat that has like big frog eyes, like by the base of it. And they've completely covered themselves in like green paint in order to take part in the migration.
Little Canthus getting your morning exercise in for sure if you're hopping along.
Oh yeah,
them.
absolutely.
Cool. Okay. Okay. So I think we have time to say goodbye, right? Maybe an end of camp scene for everyone, either like a scene we can play out, or like a montage, or a quick snapshot, however you prefer. You can drag in anyone into those scenes. So yeah, I guess like another month of shenanigans and adventures and activities. But yeah, last day of camp, or the next morning when you leave, whatever. So yeah, let's go back around to Izzy.
So Izzy, let's see, I think her little end scene is, waving to folks as her parents pick her up and getting back home. And she already knows what's in the little corked vial on the friendship bracelets. So she opens hers up and unfolds the little note that she wrote. And it just says, "Made you look, love you, have a good year, see you next summer."
Nice. And Paula.
Paula, I think it's going to have a little moment with everyone where she's making sure that we've got addresses to send mails to, and maybe if someone wants to, also like a phone number. Not because we have to like be talking all the time or anything if you don't feel like it, but if something happens, like a course that turns you into a wolf, you just call and we will find a way, and we will be sure to be there for each other. Magical pen pals, exactly. Yes. And also, if you just want to like write letters, I would also like love to know how you're doing during the day, during the year, I mean. And yeah, I think that she will eventually leave too, but that's like her highlight. Just making sure that she has a way to contact everyone.
Great. How about Petal?
Yeah, I think Petals is like, because Paula was so good at making sure everyone had everyone's addresses and everything. I think we see Petal maybe just getting home, like she takes out her like disposable camera, and maybe she got a new one at some point, gets it like all the pictures developed and everything. And so she sends, like we see her just like sending, like taking the picture and like writing on the back like notes to everyone, and they're pictures of like events that happened in like the last month of camp. Like maybe there's a picture of like more ridiculous costumes, like everyone in like a Toad outfit posing next to Mr. Toad. But then I think there's one that's like, there's not really anything in this picture, it's just like a shimmer, and she draws a happy face on the shimmer and sends it to Fiona, and she says, "Even though we can't see you on here, you're always in my mind." And it's just, she just sends all these pictures to everyone.
Awesome. And how about Jasmine?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like we're sort of like saying that we already got home by this point. Does it feel like?
So you can do like last day of camp and farewells, or whatever you get up to leaving camp, or whatever you prefer. No prescriptive timeline.
Yeah, I think so on the last day, Jasmine will go back to that sacred place, and then takes out her grandmother's grimoire, and she takes a deep breath and she says, "Okay, so a spell for making friends. I can do this." And so she sits down and she starts working on the spell before and I think we see behind one of the huge stone things like the huge like frog king with their tiny crown um, is like watching.
And do we have any hint as to whether it is Mr. Toad or not? Is there any reveal?
Oh, I think what we notice is that Becky is looking for me, and and she shouts, "Jasmine, don't miss your calisthenics!" And we see the Frog King freak out like, "Oh, calisthenics!" and leaps away.
Cool. Okay. So yeah, unless anyone wants to add anything more, we will wrap up. I'll stop the recording and then we can do stars and wishes, or just stars probably.